In the morning when I rise, give me Jesus.
Good morning. Life and death are in the power of the tongue. That's what we learn in Proverbs. And so it's really critical that your tongue be under control. It's like a horse. You put a bit in the horse's mouth and then you can direct that horse wherever he wants to go. His behavior reflects how that bit is being manipulated in his mouth. Well, are you paying attention? Someone needs to be holding the reins to direct that horse. Who's holding the reins to your tongue? See, we need Holy Spirit to be directing us, because as the tongue goes, the whole body goes. And so we need the words of God. We need wisdom of God. We need Holy Spirit to be the one controlling our tongue. We looked at that yesterday. Today we're going to look at another image about how the tongue has got to be controlled, because it can do a whole lot of damage. We're in James chapter 3, and we're going to look at verses 4 through 6 today. Look at the ships also. Though they are so great, and they are driven by strong winds, they are still directed by a very small rudder wherever the inclination of the pilot desires. See, a big boat gets directed by the rudder, and the rudder is controlled by the pilot. Who's your pilot? Oh, maybe you've seen the bumper sticker. God is my co-pilot. Are you listening? That won't do you any good. You're going to crash that boat, because God needs to be the pilot. Holy Spirit, let Him be the one turning the wheel that moves that rudder, that directs the ship, because the wind will blow it, but it won't go where you want it to go unless you've got a pilot who's directing that thing in a way that leads to the riches, that leads to the abundant life that Jesus promised. Verse 5 says this, so also the tongue is a small part of the body, and yet it boasts of great things. Yes, it does. And so you've got to have it under control. See how great a forest is set aflame by such a small fire. And the tongue is a fire, the very world of iniquity. The tongue is set among other members as that which defiles the entire body and sets on fire the course of our whole life. And it is set on fire by hell. The enemy wants to use your tongue against you. Cheryl and I used to minister in prisons, and there were a lot of guys that would rise up in anger. There were a lot of guys that couldn't control their tongue. Oh my goodness, their language was filthy, and it just came out. They couldn't control it. But many of them, once they got to know the Lord, then Holy Spirit grabbed hold of their tongue, and their language started changing without them even trying. And their anger got more under control. And the more they surrender to the Lord, the more they're able to forgive, the less anger they're going to experience. Get a hold of your tongue. How can you do that? Put yourself in the hands of Jesus, that His Holy Spirit would work the control through you. And as your tongue is controlled, so your whole body, the whole horse, the whole ship, there is no fire. You move in a way that gives life, rich, abundant life. That is because of the love of God that is flowing through you by His Holy Spirit. I look forward to being with you tomorrow. You bold one who speaks in a way that declares the goodness of God and the love of God, not in a way that sets the fires of hell. Come join us. I'll see you then.
Give me Jesus. Give me Jesus. You can have all this world, but give me Jesus.